Good morning, everyone. How are we? 10 o'clock SA time. Hello, Susan. How are you going? Hey, Grace. All right, we are going to be playing with the gilded leafing this morning. I thought it might be fun. I used to do some play with this stuff when I was doing calligraphy many years ago, and so I had a little play with this yesterday. I've had my container of gilded leafing for some time. Hi, Leanne. And I haven't actually used it, so I dug out my old heat and stick. So it's not the best. I do need to get some more, but you'll need heat and stick. You'll need your gilded leafing. What else do I need? Oh, Versamark. I got it. I found it. Hey, from Pennsylvania. Hey, Lisa. Okay, so we are going to be using the Art Gallery Suite. This is the card that we are making right here. My husband has just come home. I told him I would be going live at 10 o'clock. So hopefully he has remembered. That would be right, wouldn't it? So this is the card that we're going to be making. Watching quietly. Oh, good. So this is the card that we're going to be making. I whipped it up yesterday just to see what it would be like and have a little bit of a play. So we will get started on that. I've got my desk full of stuff. So what we will be using is just a base of Whisper White, and my cards are 10.5 centimeters by 26 centimeters, and then I score it at 13 and fold it. It's a lovely suite. I haven't used it that much, to tell you the truth. I've made a couple of cards with it, but I do use the happy birthday out of it a lot. So I do use that. So then I'm going to have a piece of the designer series paper, and I've got it to cover the entire card front, so it's not going to look like it hasn't got any layering or anything on it. So here's a quick look at the rest of the pack. It's super pretty. I'll just flip through it quickly. And then we go into the blues, and it's all very texturized. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to use a piece of that. Now, when I was having a play, I thought, somebody mentioned Mary Merlot the other day in one of my posts, and I thought, oh, I haven't used that colour for ages. So when I was having a bit of a play, I picked out that colour, and then when I picked out my paper, I realised that Mary Merlot was actually in it. So I thought, yeah, I get to use that colour for a while. So I'll be using that. Then I have a piece of vellum. Oh, so the piece for this size is 10.5 by 13, so it covers perfectly. Then I have a piece of vellum, and this one is, I'm pretty sure it's 8.5 by 11, and that'll go on top. We're going to emboss that, and then I've just got a piece of white to do my stamping on. Okay, for the, so I'm using Mary Merlot and Mossy Meadow, which is the green that ties into the designer series paper. So for your gilding, you will need a Versamark ink pad, heat and stick. Mine is old. It's from the last time we had it, so I do need to get some new stuff because it's not the best, but it is working, but it's not the greatest. And of course your gilded leafing. And I'm going to use a tiny little makeup brush, but you want something soft so that you can burnish your gold foil afterwards. Okay, so I used to play with this when we did calligraphy, and we would just use like a tacky glue. I tried it with Versamark alone and it doesn't work. You need something a little bit stronger than that, but glue and like if you had your two-way glue pen, you could do that. But if you want to stamp an image, you'll definitely need the Versamark and the heat and stick powder. Okay, so let's get started, and of course you heat tool and that sort of stuff as well. Now I'll stamp my leaf first. Now yesterday when I stamped my green leaf, I don't know whether this was a happy accident, but it's sort of, I don't think it's the stamp, I think it might have been me inking it up, but it went from lighter to darker, and I really like that. So I'm going to try and get that again. It might be my ink pad not like dull in the middle and then darker on the outside too, but we'll see what what look I get. Or it might be the, I don't know whether it's the ink pad or whether it's the stamp that does it. I'll have to have a look at somebody else's cards and see whether that happens for them. So we just want to stamp that down. So that's easy. And now we can get into the fun part. So it's a two-step stamping for the flower head. So the first one, we'll just flip that around. The first one is Merry Merlot, and my stamp pad looks like it's got a lot of glitter on it for some reason. Don't know whether you can see all that sparkly. For some reason it looks like it's got glitter. Alright, so we'll just pick that up first. It's quite dark to start with, but as it dries it turns a little bit softer. Actually, I might do my happy birthday now as well, just while that's settling down. Oh, this one's stiff, I can't open it, we'll just use it like that. So I'll just use my happy birthday. That way most of my stamping is done. Okay, let that dry a wee bit. Now, you do have to sort of work a little bit quickly, so make sure you do have yourself set up. So I've got, and I'm going to use some tweezers as well actually, and I can find them on my desk just to grab hold. Okay, so I've got a piece of scrap to funnel my heat and stick, and then I've got a piece of scrap to funnel, to collect all my little extras of, let me get that out of the way, all my extras of the gold leafing. Okay, this is the fun part. I wonder if I can zoom in ever so slightly. Then I need to go that way, maybe not. Okay, so I re-inked my Versamark because my old heat and stick isn't the greatest, so I've re-inked my Versamark to make it as tacky as I possibly can. And then, excuse me if my head gets in. It's not a perfect lineup, but I'm going to try and get it at least a little bit lined up. I'm not sure if it has a perfect spot, but anyway, okay. Then pour your heat and stick powder on top, which is sort of like embossing powder. Mine's a bit crunchy, and somehow it's got glitter in it. Typical, huh? That glitter likes to get in everywhere. Okay, so I'll just funnel that back. Okay, get that out of the way because my paper all buckles. Then we want to heat emboss this. Now this is where I find that some of it flies off, so that's it because it's a little bit old. Okay, so I'm just going to open this up so I can collect everything else. Now this gilded leafing, I have got another container to actually put it into because it's quite, oh, I don't know, very, very fine. So I think a bigger one would be better. So I'm just taking pieces, and you do sort of have to work a little bit quickly, and you just want to stick it. Of course, now my tweezers are getting sticky, but it's hard to get big pieces. So we just want to try and put them down. It's very, very delicate and very fine. You don't want to have a fan going. So, and I'm trying not to rush, but I'm trying to be, because it's better when, so if I stop talking, it's because I'm concentrating, okay? So you just want to pop it down onto those sticky bits before they dry out. See, when we're working with this, when I was doing calligraphy, it would come in a big square sheet. So it wasn't in small pieces like this, so you could just lay the whole sheet over your work and it would attach to it that way. So you just keep putting it down. grabbing bits of it. It stays tacky for a fair while, but because the pieces are quite small, there we go, there's a big piece. I think if you had it in a bigger container, you could probably pick out. But anyway, just move it around, stick it down. Make sure you try and get all those little tips. The heat and stick is still sticky at this point, so that's a good thing. So just press them in. You do get a little bit of a gold finger, but that's pretty fun, isn't it? Oops, don't make me laugh. I just nearly blew all my gold leafing out of my container. So I just push it down like that. Make sure I can't feel any stickiness anymore. I'm going to put the lid on because I think I've got enough. And I nearly, when I laughed, I nearly blew all the gold out. So, and I haven't, actually this has worked out better than what I did the other day because I had a lot left over, but with this one I haven't got a lot. And then I just sort of rub it off. You get a little bit of gold. It doesn't stay on your hands though. Okay, and then what I do is just grab my little brush. Now you can use anything that's soft. And when you burnish it, it just gives that lovely little shine to your piece. Now, because I'm pressing fairly hard as well, my ink's smudging around the background a little bit because I'm blending it. But that's how you use the gilding. And it's a lovely, lovely, really bright gold. And then I'm just sort of collecting the little bits. I will eventually tip I will tip the rest of that container into here, so it's apparently it like fluffs up quite a lot if you take it out of that container and put it into a bigger one, and which is probably a lot easier as well. Okay, so I'll bring this up close so you can have a look at it. Clean my desk off. So bring that up close so you can actually see how bright and shiny that is. Now, just to give you a comparison, I did just gold embossing. So that's just normal gold embossing, and then that's the gilded leafing. So you can see one, even though this is like raised and glossy, it's a dull, if I can say that, it's sort of a dull gold as opposed to a shiny gold. So there we have it. Okay, now let's move on with our card. We've got all our pieces. Just gonna cut that. So I hope that helped you with how you'll use your gold foiling. Okay, I need my emboss machine. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know and I can answer them while I'm doing this next little bit. Okay, I'm going to use, I've got stuff everywhere here at the moment. I'm going to use the painted texture embossing folder, and I'm going to use a plate number 1 and a plate number 4. And I'm going to actually emboss my vellum. So it does come out a little bit, well, obviously it comes out crinkled, but it does come out with a few like darker white spots in it, but I didn't mind it. I thought it didn't look too bad. So that's how that piece come out. Just to give a little bit of texture. And then, my goodness, I've got so much stuff out here. I'm going to use a plate 1, a plate 2, a 3 and a 3. So now we're going to just cut out those images here. Line them up. Oops. And this one. I forgot to say hello to everybody as I started this morning. So you might be watching the Facebook replay, you might be watching the replay on YouTube. Oh, I thought I'd stuffed up for a second then. Phew! Don't you hate it when you cut something out and it slips and then you end up, especially if you've coloured something. All right, I'll put that away later. All my bits. So that gold gilding is really fun to play with. You can pretty much do any stamped image, so that means you can do your sentiments as well. All right, what else do I need? Just trim my happy birthday. Everyone's so quiet. Okay, we've got all our components now, we can get going. So it's really quick from now. My snail, I keep calling it snail, it's seal, it's not snail. Okay, I'm going to go around all the edges because I don't have any layering, and this is my card front. Oops, up the right way would be handy. Make sure you stick it on the right way. So just carefully line up. I usually line up my edges, my top first, and then just go down one side, and then if it's all lining up, then I can get rid of my fingers and stick that down. Now I'm going to work on this piece. I don't know which is the front and which is the back now. I'm going to work on this piece, so I'm going to work it from here to start with, because I'm going to pop on some of the matching ribbon, which is called Fine Art Ribbon. So, and I want my layer crooked, but I actually want my ribbon straight. So I'm going to work from here, and I'm just going to snip a bit off. But what I did with this one, just to give a little bit of interest, is I'm just going to pull off and fray some of those ends. Just because I'm not doing a bowl or anything, so I just cut that bit off if I can. Fray that end, and then we'll just fray this end a little bit. Oh, that all scrunched then. That could give an interesting look too. Oh, I'll just pull that one out. So just for something a little bit different. Now working with that still on in that direction, I'm going to use my glue dots to stick this down. And get that lined up, and then I can pop this down about there, I think. Okay, and then I'm going to use dimensionals on these guys. Somewhere. And so I'll put a couple of dimensionals on these. Load this one up while I'm here. I've gotten used to the length of these nails now, except for when I'm typing. But I've figured out how to work with them. If you watched me last week, I had them on and I couldn't work with them. I was like, oh. So except for when it comes time for taking these things off, but I'm getting better. I'm almost used to them. Okay, so then we're just going to keep that lined up. It's not stuck down. Keep it lined up so that I can get all these pieces on. That bit down. Okay, then I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. I'm going to pop it across here, so I want to make sure that I don't have any dimensionals on the happy side, but just on the rest of it. So I'll leave that one blank a little bit. Now I'll just pull the top off of that. And the reason I am working on this panel first before sticking it down is obviously because vellum, you have to be careful where you place your adhesives so that you don't see it. So just pop that down so it's a little bit on the ribbon. Okay, and then I'm going to flip that over and I'm going to pop some more dimensionals on this one here as well. So now I know that I can just go and put them anywhere where there's some coverage, and I do go overboard, but I want to make sure it's going to stick. Here we go, and now I can just make sure that when I stick the front on, my ribbon and my sentiments are straight. It doesn't matter how crooked my vellum is. And then finally we're going to have a little bit more bling, as if the gold and the ribbon aren't enough. I'm going to use the Gilded gems, which work perfectly because they're also a nice bright gemstone. And I'm going to pop these guys just like that. And voila, we are done. So fun, not too messy. Sometimes things can get really messy, but this one was, even though we were doing the gilding, it was quite pain-free. That was my neatest go, I have to admit. So I guess the more that you play with it, the easier it becomes, and the more you can figure out how to work with the product and that type of thing. So definitely just putting a whole heap down and pressing it on, giving it a rub, pressing it all in, and then giving it a buff afterwards is definitely the way to go. So there we go. We have a nice, beautiful, shiny gilded gold look. So there we go. Very cool. So that is it for our card today. Don't forget that we have the joining up offer during celebration. So if you wish to come and join my team, if you're one of my regulars and you order from me quite often, you might actually like to think about joining. So if you do want some more information, just give me a holler and I'll help you out with what the go is. It's super fun. You don't have to sell if you don't want to. There's totally no pressure in my team. We just have a good night, and if you join before the 2nd of February, you'll be able to come and join our team crafting night, so which is going to be fun as well. So we're all going to sit around and craft together on Zoom, so that should be super fun. Okay, thank you very much, and we will see you again next Wednesday at 10 AM same time. Okay, we'll catch you then. See you later.